It's
Mine is
right.
frozen.
Okay, looks like we are live with another A to Z. It's Sunday, March 30th, 2025. It's Rod, Zilla, and Oyanga Ali back at you. Just to cover in today's topics, Ali, talk to the people. What's going on, man?
Hey man, we're gonna talk about anything right now. Just whatever comes off the top of our head. But I do have something I want to throw you right on the spot right in the beginning. We ain't gonna mess around with none of this garbage stuff right here. XRP. What do you think about it? You know what I'm talking about? XRP, that XRP coin. I've been hearing a lot of good stuff about it. Now, one thing about the XRP, my one question that I do have for you, I have been told that they're starting to bring the price up a little bit now for all these fantastical reasons, but the part that I'm focused on is they said they're getting ready to make it out of reach for the common man, right? They said that you have to have at least 2,000 coins to become rich at this particular point in time. However, they said 500 coins will be sufficient to have a decent quality of life. You won't be rich, but you'll have a decent quality of life. What do you think about that, sir?
Well, XRP is definitely popping off. The parent company being Ripple. They're been setting up Ripple and XRP for a while now to take over the Swift monetary system. So basically handle a lot of monetary transactions across the globe from countries to countries, people to people, and all that. And the price is definitely going to inflate. I've heard, I don't know, upwards of $500 a coin. It's like what, $2-3 now to get the price. So it could go through the roof. If you don't have a little XRP, it might be time to jump on and get some. For sure. But I do see XRP taking off. To how much, I don't know. I think it's a combination of things that's going to make the price excel, and that is one, the decline of the dollar's purchasing power, which is going to make things more and more out of reach, in combination with them actually bringing the price up to a level what they say the market values that coin at. So I definitely see it happening. We might see a bit more of a downslide over the next few months, but that was the fourth industrial revolution is getting ready to go full force. So as that pops off, all of the developing countries, the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, are coming online. A lot of other countries have their own coins lined up, ready to go. So with that being said, man, it's just going to change the landscape of finance globally. We're going to see countries that were downtrodden, so to speak, coming out of the third world and moving up into the first world.
Yeah, I've seen this one video where this guy was speaking about how the world's largest bank, I think he was saying either Chase or I think it was Bank of America, something like that, has just did a they started a little while ago, but they I forgot the word, but Bitcoin is two times salary. I mean, what's that?
Market cap?
Market cap. 2 times market cap than that bank. So he was talking about the fiat currency is going down. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
How is the world's largest? Yeah, the valuation of the
Bitcoin versus the what they call the legacy system is starting to be more valuable.
And and that they was talking about the banks don't want to get left behind. So the world's largest bank has put in for their own wallet. They they put in for their own wallet, but what they did was they put it on I'm trying to remember the word where you got to get it and it's just yours, and if anybody uses it, they owe you for it. What is the word?
Like a usury tax, or
not a usury, but it's like that. But it's the bigger one where you got to file for it in the federal government. You get not a copyright, but
a license. Some type
no, it's higher than a license. The word will come to me in a little while. But
yeah, no, I got you, but yeah, for sure, that's definitely happening, and the larger banks, believe it or not, have been funding the transition of this system into the new system since the beginning of it. You know, they're planting articles that they're getting their wallets on board, but they, you know, if you think about it, who could really fund something like this? You know,
right, and
uh,
that's kind of hard. I mean, just to know that they have like $600 billion market cap or something like that, and then Bitcoin has 1.7 or 1.8 trillion-dollar market cap.
sure,
You know, it's like, and they're not getting a piece of any of that. They have to put, they have to put in to that because they're losing all of their fiat currency. And I was talking to somebody, he's from Honduras, and he was talking about how a lot of the MS-16 in that country where they come from, they're getting all their stuff together because their money isn't able to be used anymore. They're not able to use fiat currency. They have to use everything that's on the blockchain. So their gangs are starting to invest into cryptocurrencies.
sure.
Which is kind of weird because like you're a gang, you're doing illegal business, but you're investing into fiat currency. I mean, not fiat, but cryptocurrency. All your business is going to be put on the streets, at least to the people who regulate those crimes. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. And that's it's all a big system rolled up into one. I mean, you said so many things like with the crime being on the blockchain, you know, all that stuff being more easily being able to be monitored. You know, if you look at some of the initiatives they talk about pre-crime, we talked about it before.
Yeah.
You know, Elon Musk is in perfect position. You know, 2 or 3 years ago, he pulled up, you know, with Dogecoin. I'm going to show you this real quick. Right here. This is, can you see this?
Yep.
So this is, you know, you may know about this, but Elon Musk, this was an article from 2023, and you can see multiple articles on it. What he wanted to do with this app, you know, as he changed the name from Twitter to X and all that stuff, he basically is going to make Twitter an app where, like WeChat, like they had in China, where you can work, play, have fun, get paid, shop, have entertainment all in one app. So, I mean, he's in a perfect position now to really bring that on board as, you know, people lose more and more jobs, and, you know, that platform is going to be there for them to work, play, have fun. So all of this is kind of setting up just like, you know, they planned to get everyone on the blockchain slowly but surely. And yeah, so that's going to be great for XRP. Back to your original question, for those who can, yeah.
Hey, do you think right now that we should go ahead and try and figure out a way? Now, don't tell this to everybody. I know we on here, but don't tell this to everybody, and not even your people where you at. You know what I'm saying? We can figure this shit out for ourselves.
Crystal ball. All right, let's get it.
But here, just think about this. Putting a bank on the metaverse right now. Right now, because I think Bank of America is already established a bank in the metaverse. We could do it as a smaller bank, but as long as we're there, we're going to be making money in the metaverse, which is cryptocurrency coins, right?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
that sounds like it.
I mean, yeah, you could certainly do it. I mean, one of the things that they were talking about early on in the crypto market was becoming your own bank with the cryptocurrencies, and bank, and the companies, the powers that be that created the system, were talking about banking the unbanked. So the whole thing was to bank the unbanked, the people who weren't in the old legacy system, to get them on board with the crypto. And if you were aware and wise enough, you could become your own bank, because with these cryptocurrencies, unlike the legacy fiat system and fiat currencies, you can borrow against these cryptocurrencies. So so you can use that as collateral in a lot of cases to be your own bank and get leverage loans and things like that if you have enough crypto available to borrow against. So you are right. With that being said, you can become your own bank. There's different things like was it arbitrage where you're selling different currencies to other peers. All those things still exist. So yeah, it's just kind of an exciting time in the financial market. You know, we'll see how it all shakes out in the next year or two.
That's the word I was looking for. Patent.
Oh, a patent.
Patent.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a patent on a wallet. Now I don't know if they patent the crypto wallet or if they patent their own specific wallet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about the bank, but
yeah.
So that's the word I was looking for. Because if they patent all of the crypto wallets, then they're going to make sure that they have a way to not regulate. I mean, to make sure that people can't be their own banks. You know what I mean?
It's
because
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you continue. I was gonna say, yeah, you're right. It's like I have there's things you could do like these off-chain wallets, like the like a Ledger or as a Trezor, different wallets you can have that basically store your coins in a wallet that's not online. To my understanding, those are called cold storage. But to my understanding, the powers that be could still probably look in there and see what you have.
Yeah,
like other people can't. Like me, I couldn't see in your wallet, but people who have the patent or who built the wallets or the technology still have that capability. So
yeah, but see,
yeah,
that part wouldn't matter as long as they can't take it. You know what I mean?
So, sure, and this is where this technology gets sticky, right? Because you've been hearing about hacks and all this type of stuff going on. Be wary of hacks. But if you think about governmental hacks on a large scale, these type of hacks aren't generally done by somebody in their house with a computer. Right. These are generally like inside jobs. So if you think about who created the technology, who has the best hackers in the world, especially when they start talking about supercomputing, which is getting ready to come on board, which is supposed to be able to crack any code almost instantaneously. Those people could still crack into your wallet. So that's kind of what I mean about, is it really safe? I don't really know. Yeah, there's certain coins and things you can look at to further create more privacy. But anybody who's a creator or something,
yeah, they know the back doors of everything.
Exactly. So
right.
I mean, you're secure to a degree, I guess.
Yeah, and I was. This is the part that was. I do understand. I don't understand that. If you leave your money, like say you got Coinbase,
sure.
Right? Say you got Coinbase, you leave the coins in Coinbase. Say a person has 3,000 coins of whatever, and that in each coin is $50,000, right? But you got 3,000 of those coins, and they said they only insure $500,000, right? They only insure $500,000. Right now, you got quite a few millions of dollars in there, right?
Sure.
So because we have blockchain and they can see where the money's going, wouldn't that keep all your money safe anyway? You see what I mean? It's like I'm here. You can only insure this much, but you see where my money got. If they took coins, you see where it went to. You see who. Because that's what the blockchain is there for, to follow it. Go get my money back, get my coins back. You know what I mean? You can tell that it didn't come from my server, that came from somebody else's, because it's blockchain. So give me my coins back. It should be safe, 100%. I shouldn't have to take these coins out of Coinbase and put them in a separate wallet. And for insurance.
It makes it easier for them, right? Shouldn't it be easier for them now?
Yeah, now like take the money out the bank and put it in my house, so my house can burn down, or put it in my wallet so somebody can pickpocket me. You know, the bank is supposed to be the safest place. The bank is that. And I think that's that right there. However true it is, I think that's the actual fiat currency banks trying to put some fear into everybody else, saying, hey, you have to have this wallet or your stuff is, because can't nobody take your stuff if it's
Right.
here. But and this is the thing, what didn't make sense to me about the wallet, right? You put your stuff, you put the coins in the wallet, because this is not the this is not the stock market. If you take your coins out and put them in the wallet, those coins still grow.
Sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you see what's the point of taking them out and put them in the wallet? Because they still drop.
Yeah, they go up and down. I mean, because once they're in the cold storage wallet, yeah, it's like essentially being tied to the market, but just not on a website, basically. But I think you hit the nail on the head. It's about the fear, not because the fear element allows them to still have some control over what you do and dictate what kind of behavior you're going to exhibit in the new economy. They can't have you come in. This is just how I think about it. We didn't get educated on how the fiat system worked when you went from first grade to graduating high school. You didn't really learn how the financial system worked. Maybe not even in college either. And so they're not really going to educate people on the onset on how this thing works, because that fear allows them then to be able to have control. They should be able to track everything, and they can track everything, but it's going to be tracked in a way to uphold the system, like we talked about with the cops last week. They were in place to uphold the system, not necessarily to make it better for the citizens. So this whole thing, if you think about it, is trying to move 6-7 billion people off of a financial system that could potentially free them to a system where we get ultimate control if we do it just right. And that's kind of the scenario that the controls are in. Like, we have some people who are going to be smart enough to be savvy and be free and create some sovereignty within this new system, but the majority of people will continue to still be sheep. And it's the fear about what the system really is, how it really works, that'll continue to let them maintain that control, because that's always the purpose.
And them, excuse me,
mm-hmm.
and them are the
bankers.
Okay, there you go.
Bankers. This system is created by bankers. Why? The bankers made the monetary system go round. They
not the Bitcoin system, but the other system.
Both. So the bankers have been fun. Jerome Powell himself has been quoted as saying, "We have been working on cryptocurrencies for a couple of decades." This was like, I think I mentioned this comment every few times we talk. So, and this was 2020 when first time I heard him say that. So a couple of decades means, early 2000s, maybe the 1990s. They've been working on these currencies, and these are bankers talking. Like, Jerome Powell's a banker. So when he say we've been working on it, he's saying we, the bankers, have been working on creating this new financial system for decades. Who else would create a new financial system but the bankers? But who else could? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about this cryptocurrency, a few years ago, you used to hear Hillary Clinton, Elizabeth Warren, all these different politicians acting as if this currency was created by the Wild Wild West, and all you have is just criminals and money launderers and sex traffickers, and all these are the only people using cryptocurrency. That's how they kind of rolled it out into the public arena. But that's really not the case, because how can criminals and money launderers and all that create a system that's so sophisticated from ground roots and then have banks implement it? That's just backwards, right? That's backwards as hell.
Either that, or unless they're calling the bankers these people.
Unless they're calling them what?
Unless they're calling the bankers these criminals and rapists.
Because they are. They are. I mean, if you look at how many times Bank of America and all these Chase banks have been caught up in fraud and scams and billions of dollars, and they just get a little slap on the wrist. They are the biggest money launderers and gunslingers. I mean, who else finances this stuff for billions and trillions of dollars around the world? Come on.
Right. And then something. This is something that I was peeping at the other day. I know it's just corporations, right? I'm going to say this, and you heard me say it again, but there's more proof every time we see something. There's more proof. They was talking about some of these companies that are switching over to Bitcoin and whatever, or all these are like there's companies that have $11 trillion, right? There's companies that have $11 trillion. We, as regular people, we don't actually ever see a trillionaire. When have we ever seen a trillionaire? Elon Musk is right. Elon Musk is supposed to be, well, in a lot of people's mind, the world's richest man. We know he's not the world's richest man. He's the richest man in America, probably, but he's not the world's richest man, because there are people who own these companies that have $11 trillion in it. And if they own a company that have $11 trillion in, they have to have more money than just that. You know what I mean? So, and which brings me to go even a step further about us not seeing these people. A lot of people don't even know that there's people that have $11 trillion, right? And how long do you think a company or a family or group of people have got to be in business to have $11 trillion? That shit didn't happen.
Decades, centuries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm going back to the idea to make people think and understand that those pharaohs back in Jesus's day, their bloodline is alive right now.
Absolutely.
$11 trillion. And these people who are owning all these businesses and corporations are from those bloodlines.
Correct.
Because how many people here have actually seen our president in person? There are some, but the president is on a smaller scale, right, than a king. How many people have actually seen a king? How many people have actually seen the emperor? Most definitely people ain't seen a pharaoh, because there wasn't that many pharaohs back then. They didn't go to war, really. They just conquered, right?
Yeah.
So their bloodline is still in control.
We can trace some of that bloodline through the Bible. When it goes like this son begat that son and begat, and it's like long lines of lineage.
Yeah,
chapters and chapters and chapters of just he begat him and he begat him. That is the lineage right there. They're laying it out.
They're laying it out, but there's a gap. There's a gap that separates our knowledge of who is under Jesus's bloodline, who's under the actual Pharaoh's bloodline. There is.
You mean a gap in terms of just a knowledge gap? A knowledge gap?
A knowledge gap, yeah. It's as far as it's saying, okay, this is Pharaoh, whoever. That Pharaoh had this daughter, this son, blah, blah, blah. Keep on going down the list. By the time you get to a certain spot, whatever spot that is, I guarantee you there's no information to say who's the next person in charge, the next person in that bloodline. And if there is that's nowhere near secret knowledge. It's deeper than that. I mean, because there's common knowledge, then there's this upper class, then there's secret, then there's top secret, information that we will never get. And then if we did get that information, how would we be able to use it? We can't go find these people, because we can't even go to a king or a freaking queen.
My guess is that it's probably right there. We just don't know what we're looking at.
Oh, you throwing the Adam Sandler effect in it, huh?
Well, I just think most things are right there. I think most things are hidden in plain sight. I mean, most things are. We just don't know what we're looking at. Even that lineage, a lot of people would look at that and just assume it's 2,000 years ago, it's got nothing to do with what we're doing right now, but it has everything to do with what we're living right now, and it's in plain sight.
For anybody who didn't understand what I was talking
Anybody
about,
who
Adam,
can understand it, yes, and interpret it, because, like you say, it's layered levels of interpretation. You got the interpretation for the common folk, and then you got the interpretation for the esoteric people who really understand, and you probably have another level of interpretation for being in the family. Like if you're the family of those people, I'm pretty sure even that has a level of security and secrecy that even your people who are around you don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So it's so layered I think, and some of it might even get to the point where it's just word of mouth or orated, or certain things just get passed down in ways that are just more secretive. And another thing to think about too, the way things this gets a little bit weird.
Let's get weird.
Things get passed down through the DNA, and certain people have abilities to access more of the DNA, which gives them access to more and more knowledge of what's really going on. And accessing more of the DNA is as simple as just, I guess accessing more of who you are. Just being able to tap into more of who you are. So people are able to do that. And even more weirder, some people say that some cultures would have ceremonies where children were created at certain times based on celestial things going on in the sky to create a certain type of being at that time, and that being would be endowed with certain powers. And a lot of times that's what's going on as well. Like they're reincarnating into bodies and then stepping right into where they left off last time. And that's the type of stuff that we as common people don't even think exists. So a lot of it is that.
Okay. I can see that. I can see that. I can see that. And one thing, what I was talking about, that just in case people didn't understand the Adam Sandler effect.
Yeah, tell me about
is when you look at him walking down the street, he's hiding in plain sight. He's not walking around with gold all on his plate. He's walking around looking like I'm not saying he looked like a bum, but he looks like an unkept man. Not stinky or anything, but he's wearing basketball shorts with a collar shirt. Who does that? People who are trying to hide in plain sight.
Yeah.
Don't know, and people don't know that he's a billionaire just walking around, like even Keanu Reeves, he doesn't walk around always looking like Neo, but he looks like Neo all the time.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, like, it's the Adam Sandler effect of what you're saying. Like, that's the only way that I could actually believe and see what you're saying. Like, these people are actually probably, these feral people, families are actually probably walking around here. I actually think that they're on a different level of life, like, meaning they're in a different realm, like where Buddha was. You know the story about the Buddha, right?
He just break it down for us.
Well, this is the story I heard. Now, for all you Buddhists out there that are listening, hey, this is what I was told, okay? And a little bit about what I was read. So basically, he was in his kingdom, and he was talking to his father, right? And then he came down to see the common man and start seeing how they were. But because he was in his realm with his father, they were rich and had opulence and everything like that. But they had a different connection, almost like what you said. The DNA gave them different powers, different energies. They was able to unlock different parts of their mind. So when he came down here, he's seen the people whose DNA was basically locked. They seen him praying or talking to his God through telekinesis or whatever that thing is called, telepathy, whatever. And they thought that he was praying to God, but he was actually just talking to his father, right? His actual dad. And they're like, oh my God, Buddha, you're a God and all this stuff. You can make all this stuff happen. He was like, no, y'all can do it too. And he was trying to unlock some people, right? Then he said, okay, you people ain't really getting unlocked. It's so sad that you don't understand, and y'all living in this place, and this place is horrible. You know what I mean? So he came and tried, and he said, okay, the heck with y'all guys, and he left and went back home. Right. But his home, they couldn't reach his home. The common people couldn't reach where he lives, maybe because their energy is so whatever. You know what I mean? Remember that commercial? Like the guy was walking around his house and he was like, I think it was like during the sports time, but he's walking around his house and there's a little bitty giraffe sitting on his couch and he's feeding a little bitty giraffe.
And that like, funny as hell. Yeah, I love that commercial.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. That's how I believe that the opulence is of those people of those realms. You know, like they actually inside of their homes have gold rivers, you know, just because they want it, gold flowing in their kitchen or through their living room, or they got like honey, or well, I'm saying gold, but it's honey, you know what I mean, just flowing through their kitchen, and then they got little bitty elephants walking around, and then people cleaning up the elephant poop and all that other whatever, you know. But it's an interesting world.
You know, it's an interesting thing, right? Because we know that kind of lifestyle is possible, and don't the scriptures and everything say that we should all have that type of lifestyle or live in that type of opulence? But we don't, right? So how do we, more specifically, me and you, unlock that? Because I sent you something the other day about manifesting it and bringing that into light. Like, and I think it's like one of these things where, you know how sometimes you'll well, I'll use myself as an example. Like, sometimes you'll want to come into some money, but in your mind that we've been, or personally me, been tied to poverty and so many things that you almost want to bring other people up with you in a sense.
Right.
Because, you know, like, damn, it ain't no fun if my homies can't ball out too, right? Kind of that mentality. But when you think about what we're saying with this type of opulence, everyone can't come.
They cannot.
They just can't. It's just an impossibility. And in fact, they're not supposed to, because you're supposed to be the light to show them, hey, you can do this too, like the Buddha did. So I guess what I'm asking is, how do we shake that energy of wanting to bring someone up with and get there so that they could then see the light? Hey, you could be this too. Because that's really the task at hand.
We got to be selfish. But everything about the way we were raised is you can't be selfish, but you have to be. You have to be selfish. This is mine. This is what I'm going to get. This is me.
Like, define that selfishness, because it's not like, I don't think it's like, this is mine, give me all. It's not that kind of selfish where you're trying to bring all these physical objects under your possession and control. It's more a different type of selfish with your energy, how your thoughts and your ability to create. So, like, how do you see that? Is that
I see it as where people would just call a person like extremely arrogant or even mean and rude. It's like, if I'm on my path, right? This is my path. You want to tell me, oh no, you're doing it. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. This has nothing to do with you. You know, hey, I'm going to here. No, you should go. You're going that way, and or even to this effect. Hey, I'm on my path. Oh, I like what you're doing. Can I come with you? No. Hey, I got some stuff I got to do. I don't have time to listen to your doubtful energy. You know, because you're the one who's don't believe that you can make it this far. You know, when I get up here,
I can now. Okay.
Right, yeah. When I get up to this point, it might be kind of rough. I don't want to hear any doubt. I'm focused. Fuck you. Selfish. That's what I'm talking about.
Selfish with your energy.
selfish with your energy, selfish even so much with your time, and basically your attention. Our attention, keeps going to other people other than ourselves. It's like even when you said it. I was going to say it earlier, but you already said it.
I did.
I should have wrote it down, but it was basically being on your own, being, oh man. I would translate it different than the way you said it, so I'm not going to say it right now.
No, it's all good. I don't even know what you're talking about, but
yeah,
I think you're right. I think you're right, man. Like, I was listening to that same video I was listening to about manifesting the other day, and she was like, because when we talk about being selfish with your energy, basically being a self-contained unit, so you can attract something into your life based on how you're vibing. You know, like I'm vibing at. I'm trying, let's just say I'm going to be an NBA player. I'm grinding, I'm working. I don't want to hear that. I'm locked in and focused on that. Nothing you say, nothing you do, nothing you bring my way can take my focus away from that.
Right.
I'm locked in. And that energetic current kind of takes you to where your goal is. And it's being that type of locked in. And the point she was making is that most of us say like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire. But it's not so, we're not convinced to the point where nothing will take or deter us, or to a point where we have a thought that's contrary to that. So today I want to be a millionaire. Tomorrow I'm like, oh, I don't really know. And it's that, from what I understand, that takes you off.
I think it could be that,
or
but
slows
it's also,
it down.
huh?
Or slows it down.
Yeah, but I think that part is wrong. I think we believe in that part, and we shouldn't believe in that part.
What do you mean?
I I think I sent you the text where I said that faith weighs a pound and doubt weighs 20 grams, 20 milligrams or something like that. So people start thinking, oh man, I doubt it. So now they're pushing more doubt onto their thing. But just because you doubted something, that's just a random thought that came through your head. So you're practicing thinking about that instead of practicing, this is what I was doing, right? And I think that on our come up, a reason why things are kind of harder for us is because we're never taught as a child the laws of first, all the different laws of the universe, but we only stuck with the law of gravity, right? The law of inertia, those little bullshit science laws that don't actually help you grow. You know what I mean? Just like,
in fact, gravity might keep you down.
Exactly, but like the law first. Hey, listen, if don't do crack, because if you do crack, like if you do anything, crack is just one of the things that I'm using. If you do crack, the first time you do crack, that's going to be on your mind from now to the day you die. Whether you like it or you don't like it, it's going to be something that always comes up. Whether it comes up 10 years from now, but in the beginning, it's going to come up a lot. Do I want to do it again? Should I stay away? Crack is bad. This, and that. And then say you don't never do crack again. You never do crack again. Or a person never does crack again. It will still be in your mind later on in the future because you have a reference of it. You know what I mean? So the law of first is a law that everybody should do. But take your time when you have sex. Don't always jump into sex, because once you have it, you have experienced it. That's going to be on your mind, because sex is a wonderful thing. You know what I mean? You're going to be dealing with the feeling. You're going to be dealing with this. Oh, I can't have sex now. So what can I get that feeling that seems like sex? Now you got your law first of masturbation. Now masturbation is, oh, I'm not going to masturbate no more. But now you're in a time to where you're by yourself, and you done see, well, I need some sex. I'm by my, well, I can do it now. It's still going to be in here. So we aren't being taught all of the important laws.
Yeah.
The law of gravity is a dumb ass law. that we don't need to know because everybody can see constantly every day something falling, right? The law of lift is a law that we should concentrate on, that
The
we
law of
could
lift.
concentrate.
What's that one
The,
about?
the law of lift. Birds fly. They're defying gravity. All these other animals are like insects. How are they doing it? That's an interesting law. How is the bumblebee with those little bitty wings flying? They're defying.
For sure. They're not supposed to fly, right? Especially a bumblebee.
Right. They're using the law of lift. That's the law to figure out. It's not just what they use for the airplanes. It's not just what they use with the airplanes, because the airplanes, they do a science story. The wings have to be this long. Remember in the beginning, the wings have to be this long. They have to be able to hold all this extra stuff. But then they did the one wing. Then they did the little bitty jets that have little bitty tiny wings, which changes everything, right? So, and then they said, well, we can use a helicopter, right? So there's different, like if you're thinking about the law of lift, you could probably use like, oh yeah, even the law of lift comes, you see those people that be on those machines and they just got them on their hands and they're flying around in the air.
Yeah.
There's no wings on that. And they're still flying like a jet. The law of lift allows you to create things to where it seems impossible. Gravity is possible because you see it every single freaking day. We don't need to ever learn about that. We need to learn about the laws that are not common.
I mean, I think it lines right up with everything else. Like, why teach people these laws? So that you govern what they're able to do. And it's clear that as time progressed, we got more and more understanding of what the true natures of laws of nature were really about. As we progressed, we went from fixed wing, helicopter, no, and it's just showing that the envelope can continue to be pushed based on what your psyche says it can be pushed to. And
exactly.
Who knows what a human could do if there was no limits put on one, right? Who knows? It certainly would defy a lot of quote unquote laws that are put in place. I mean, we see it happening every day. I mean, people do amazing shit every day.
Exactly.
Like really amazing things. It's like, man, how do they do that? And it just goes above the radar almost that. I don't know, man. We talk about a lot that I think we're like superheroes, to be quite honest. We've just been governed.
Yeah.
And largely by the mind.
We are. Because, again, we got to go back to this. When God made us, God can't make anything not perfect. He can't. Nothing imperfect can come from perfection. He made us perfect. They keep throwing all kinds of stuff when they talk about God. They keep throwing all kinds of stuff in it. Well, God made us perfect, but there's all this other stuff that is that we have to do to be perfect. Like we were born into sin. Shut the fuck up. That's how I always feel about that. We were born into sin. God made us perfect. It doesn't matter where we was born. We're perfect. Our body heals itself. But you're still going to tell me I'm not perfect? I can break a bone and it will heal. They keep putting stuff in our minds. They keep putting stuff in our minds that make us not perfect, to make us not want to be or feel that we are as powerful as we are. Jesus said this. You can do everything that I can do, but you'll be able to do more. What did Jesus do? Jesus walked on water. Nobody's walking on water. We're not following what he's doing. Jesus, he freaking turned water into wine. Not a magic trick. He did it. He fed all those thousands of people with 3 loaves of bread and a couple fish or whatever that number was. Right? He had a fish wallet. They asked him for the dinar. He pulled the money out of the fish's mouth. You know what I mean? they make us think that Jesus was poor. He walked into he went to a town on an ass that has never been ridden. That's a brand new animal. You know what I mean? That's a brand new car. So he had money. He was able to manifest things. So all the things that they're saying to us about who we are is not who we are.
Well, who are we then? Like, who are we then? I think that's an important thing to talk about, because my wife and I would have these conversations about a lot of the heartache, pain, strife, misery, and all the things that we experience here are largely because we don't know who we are as people and how to get back to that so we can, live from that state. So who are we then? What does it mean to be a human at this level of this Christ one you're talking about, who could be able to do those things? What type of, you get what I'm asking? Like, what is
Jesus,
that?
Jesus was the Buddha. That's the cleanest form of who we are. That
we're Christ, we're Buddhas, we're Krishnas.
Those are who we are supposed to be. Those are who we're supposed to be. We just care about the wrong stuff. They used our emotions and tied them to things that really don't matter. You know what I mean? And because they did that, that locked us in to a different way of thinking. And everything that we see is supposed to be in harmony, right? We're supposed to be in harmony if we follow everything that we're told by this system. But as soon as we start getting out of that system, everybody says, "Oh no, you're wrong." But it's actually working. You know what I mean? What I'm doing is, you say I'm wrong, but it's actually working. You know? And then there's so many other people like magicians. Oh yeah, this is a magician. Let's figure out how he did this. It's fake. Okay, so now we think magic's not real because we see all this fake stuff. You know what I mean?
The fake illusions.
Right, but when you go to different cultures, like there's a culture out there that can a group of people can deep sea dive without any apparatuses and stay underwater for 10 to 12 minutes while they're catching fish.
Now, why are they able to do that?
Because they haven't been told they can't do that. You can't do this. Oh, what? I've been doing it for shit. And then they freaking they die because now they can't do it. They believe they can't do it. It's a belief. They done told us and they done trained us. You got to remember what President Obama said. We got to train these people from pre-K.
Yeah.
We got to train them from pre-K to fit these jobs. If you're training somebody from pre-K, that means you're changing everything that's here. You're changing everything that their free will, because training is changing to create a stable line. You're not giving them education.
No. You said the point that we're Buddhists and we're Christ and we're Christians and we're all of that. And one thing that has to be pointed out is those were multidimensional beings. They were multidimensional beings. They were here in the flesh, but they also communicated outside of here. They received things outside of here, and they knew it. It wasn't like, it was true. I'm sorry, hit my thing there. It was truly divine intervention, like intervention coming through, and they were really trusting their intuition and all of those things versus just being here, like rather than just being a physical flesh and bone human. It's more to it than that, So that's the other part that we've been locked out to, is most of us kind of just see it as being flesh and bone. But there's another side of us that that these Krishnas and Buddhas united with. And they became the one, like Neo, where all of their energy was congealed into one being. And that's why they call it being whole, right? So is that like connecting to that part of us that we've been disconnected from?
Yeah, we've been disconnected. They didn't become that. They were that.
They realized it again.
No, they always were. They always were. Hey, babe.
So those beings were aware of it basically at all times from a young age and were never disconnected. Is that what you're saying? Okay,
exactly. And the thing that we got disconnected to is from our religious teachings and trainings. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so we hear the voices, but we get told, oh, if you listen to voices in your head, you're crazy, like that man on the street. Or if you listen to voices in your head, that's Satan talking to you. You know, because I told you what to do, and you're getting this voice in your head telling you to do something opposite of what I told you. That's Satan. No, it's my path. That's what we're not letting people understand. I mean, that's what they're stopping us, and we don't know that we're stopping us as a people. Yep. You know, we're stopping each other because the voices I'm hearing is telling me to go this way. You want me to go that way, but I'm being told by the spiritual realm to go this way. You know what I mean? Like, even now, check this out. Excuse me. Check this out. Now, this might be controversial. All right, this one might be. Now, when they say, God says, don't judge anybody. I'll judge their heart. You know, you shouldn't judge anybody. Just go about your business. Yeah. Now, check this out. The people in the airplanes that crashed into Twin Towers, right? And a lot of people say those people were evil. They're devil. They did this, whatever. But if they were Hajjadis, right? They believed that what they were doing, if they were Muslim, they believed that what they were doing was for God. So their heart was in the right place with God. God judges their heart, right? If they were jihadists, everything that they were doing was for God. It wasn't bad. Freaking Hitler. Now, I'm not saying you have to agree with this. We don't have to agree with everybody's path because everybody's path doesn't align with mine, right? Hitler, he wanted not just so to create a master race, he wanted to keep a master race, right? He said, these people here are the best race. So let's go ahead and destroy everything that's around here, this area, because these races aren't the right one. I'm going to be here so we can have the best race on earth that the way God wanted us to be, right? We can't judge this. Like, we don't know where that man's heart was. What if that's what he really believed? You know what I mean?
I think there's no doubt that that's what he believed. What I would say about that, bro, is we're all acting out our beliefs, whether it's conscious or unconscious. We're all acting out our beliefs about ourselves and our belief about how the people in which we interact with in the world. And that is always in service of the source or the all, because it all has to be that way. It couldn't be any other way. We don't understand it. And I think you hit on when it says God's ways are not like our ways.
Not like our ways.
And I think it's a lot of that, because in order for there to be goodness and greatness in the world on a massive scale, you have to have evil in the world on a massive scale for good to overcome that. So in a way, they kind of work together. It's messy, it's ugly. I don't understand how it all works. I didn't put it together, and it's not my laws, but I think in some weird way above me, it all serves. Like, I couldn't you know, as sad as it sounds, I couldn't show my godliness. Like if a little girl gets shot over there, right? That might be an opportunity to show my godliness, so to speak, if that's what you want to call it, while someone else showed their Satanness or their negative aspects when they shot her. But it took both of those for you to see the duality of good and evil in that scenario. And it's a harsh example, but I think it kind of speaks to what you're saying. In a weird way, we need all of those things, because you couldn't, for like, even if you look at like a Marvel movie, right? For these gods, because they're basically gods, Thor and all these people, they're gods, right? They are overcoming some crazy atrocities that are going on, and you wouldn't know that, man, that Thor is a badass god if he didn't overcome that. So in a way, for him to show his greatness, he had to see something so horrible,
right?
And I kind of think that's what you're getting at, but
well, it's also
it's an ugly one,
you know. And I think that everything, the only reason why everything is chaotic is because we don't see the
beauty.
We don't see the beauty. We have been told and taught to see different things on different emotions. Our emotions have been trained to say this. You know what I mean? Oh, you want to be nice to people. Stop, like from kindergarten. Be nice. Don't take that toy. It's not yours. You have to share. Motherfucker, this is my toy. I want it. No, you have to share. Or matter of fact, I know you brought that toy in, but don't bring that toy in unless you're going to share it with everybody else. It's my toy.
Yeah.
I want my toy. You know what I mean? So
yeah, keep going.
No, I just think it's those teachings. Those teachings are what stifle us in being the people who we really are supposed to be, to use our powers.
It keeps us in that immature state. Those polar positions, the good and bad. Like if you stop me, oh, you're bad, or you hit. Well, he got stopped, so he's good. But there's always a third side, which is oftentimes a more mature viewpoint of a situation. And this reality oftentimes just polarizes us, which keeps us in an immature state from being able to see both sides, and then probably a higher level of the actual situation. So in the situation we're talking about, with this girl got shot, it's negative, that a negative situation, that person was shot. It's a great situation, someone saved them. But there's a third viewpoint to look at how this may serve the community as a whole to change the viewpoint to better society. So now someone maybe, now we got to start a cause to get more guns off the street so more children don't get hurt. So that's kind of like the more mature way to kind of see a situation. And I think it's kind of like that, man, being able to just be mature, because we talk about all the times that a God has the ability to create, operate through something, and then destroy it. And we have to be able to look at most situations from all those three vantage points, because that is the mature way to look at it. So I'll leave it like that. Bro, I think that's a good point you hit, though.
Yeah, I was seeing something, but it kind of went away. I still think that when we go through the things that we're going through, we have to know what we're listening to. We have to believe that what we're feeling is the right feeling, no matter what other people are telling us the way we have to feel. We don't have to feel the way that they want us to feel, because
that's right.
The more we deny our own feelings and our own solves to our feelings is the more we deny who we are. Because there are some people, I remember there was times to where I was like, oh, I'm about to whip this nigga's ass. I didn't appreciate the way he was talking to me. But then the teachings of my mom came in, hey, no, you can't do that. You're at school and you're going to get in trouble. And if you get in trouble, I'm going to come home and I got to leave work and I'm going to lose money and I'm going to have to whip your butt. I'm like, but now I have to deny my feelings because you don't want to lose money. I have to sit here and get pummeled or embarrassed or emotionally hurt because you want to make money. You know, I mean, I understand it was feeding me and keeping me and keeping a roof over my head. But things like that is what changes us.
Yes.
You know, because normally, like hey, you ain't gonna touch me at all. I don't like you touch me, but now I have to let you touch me. I can only use my words. I have to be a master of words, and not even I have to be a master of words. I have to change my whole direction in life because I don't want to have to deal with that. I like the way I was going, but now I got to swerve and swivel around people. When actually, here you go. Here's a quick good example. Quick and good. When I was in the Marine Corps, I went back home to Ohio. We riding around, walking around with my cousin Kenny. Right, this dude, his name was Goon. He was a beast where he's from. You know what I mean? People knew him. People, the younger guys weren't really afraid of him, but the older guys was like they respected him. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm walking down the street with him. I'm smiling. I'm happy and shit. I ain't worried about nobody. People are looking at me. They're mean mugging me. And I'm like, hey, what's up? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? And they mean mugging me. And my cousin was like, yo, don't be doing that, smiling at people. You know, I'm like, why not? That's going to cause us to get in trouble because you smiling at people. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm a happy person. I want to smile at them, right? But he's like, no, he's gonna get it. But nobody, see, and this is the thing, nobody came to try to fight me. I'm not a big dude, but it's like, how are you going to try to change the person who I am because you're afraid of this environment? I'm not afraid of that environment. And I'm speeding. Now, mind you, I'm driving safe, but I am speeding. And he's like, the police are right there. Oh my God. I'm like, I'm okay. He's like, you got a gun in your car. So I'm legal. I don't care about that police officer right there. You know what I mean? And then we pulled up. Now we in the hood. Like we in the hood the whole time. But we pull up to this other hood. They do drugs and everything over there. And the police are right down the street. And they can see me. I pull up. I'm like, hey, Kenny, I want to show you my new AR. You know? So, because I came from Vegas. I pulled my AR out. I'm looking at it, everything. It doesn't have a magazine in or anything. I'm looking at it. He was like, oh my God, you need to bring that in the house. I was like, no, I'm not bringing it in the house. I'm just showing you right here. I'm going to put it back in my car. You know? And he's like, okay. So he looks at it, everything. And then he's like, the police are right there. And he stiffens up. The police are right there, man. It's okay. I'm like, man, fuck them. It's not against the law to have a gun. You know? So he looks at it, and then I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I put it down. The police pull up and start talking to me. He goes, he stands right there, but he stands on the other side of the car like he's getting ready to dip. You know, and he's like, hey, what's that? I was like, it's my AR, man. What's up? How you doing? And I'm just talking to him like he's cool because he's just another human being. Right. So anyway, what I'm saying is different areas make you try to feel different, make you feel afraid, make you change the person who you are when you never have to. And they teaching us to change from a child. What if that child never had to change? What if that child did everything that it wanted to do? Now, there'd be some pricks out there. There'd be some dicks that would have to get beat up every now and again. So, but at least their thinking would be in the right alignment with who they are.
Right. Right. I mean, gee, boy, you unpacked so much in there, bro. Like, Yeah, we get changed early. And when you were talking about your mom telling you not to do that thing, what's really happening, even on a deeper level, is that your behavior changed because you saw your survival at risk. If my mom doesn't go to work, we don't get money, I can't eat. So I'm going to change my behavior so I make sure I can still eat and we can afford things. Your survival, your behavior was dictated upon you surviving. And in this situation with your cousin, or I can't remember, your cousin or friend, don't smile at them. We're going to get into a fight. There's your survival again. So our behaviors and actions are shaped by the beliefs and thought patterns of the people around us, which makes us lose trust in who we are as people. And that's the most thing we're here. That's the thing we're here to do most, is develop that trust in our own intuition, in our own guidance system, through those own voices that we hear that are here to serve us and make us become those gods and Buddhas and Jesuses and Sarah, etc. But so all those things are to disconnect us from who we are, so we are in survival mode all the time.
And we can go right back to that, being selfish.
Bingo, full circle. Back to being selfish, to create what you are supposed to be, or what you came here to be, or whatever you choose to be, because it's really that. Because we talked about what they're, the possibilities are really endless, right? So it's really about what you want to make of it, because you could fly, right? I mean, maybe not literally, but certainly figuratively.
We just haven't figured it out yet. We haven't figured it out yet.
I mean, I've heard stories, people levitating. I'm reading a book
right now. Have flying carpets.
People do crazy stuff. Especially when you become a multidimensional being like the ones we were talking about. So, man. Another great one, bro. We're about at an hour.
Yeah.
You say we have to wrap it up. So that was a great point to end on. Full circle. Be selfish. Take care of your energy, your attention, your mind state, all that.
Yeah.
You want to close us out, man?
Well, we want to close out in prayer. No, I'm just. Well, thank you for coming and listening to us, man. We appreciate you. We appreciate everybody. Gratitude is important. I appreciate you, Rod. And I'm pretty sure with that smile you got right there, you appreciate this moment that you had with me. So,
absolutely, man, I look forward to these. So it's awesome.
There you go. Next Sunday.
All right, brother. Next Sunday. Have a great week.
All right, and remember in May, I'm done until July, because I'll be in Korea.
Okay, sounds good, brother.
All right,
bro.